Oh, hey you. Welcome back. I'm at my mom's visiting for the week. Don't worry, both of us got tested for COVID beforehand. Both of us are negative. Should be good, should be a safe visit. So I'm utilizing her bedspread and this lovely plant as a backdrop. So even outside of quarantine, I'm a homebody. I spend about 98% of my time at home, by myself, and I like it that way. What do I spend the majority of my time doing while alone, all by myself? I read a lot of books, which is a segue into this video's topic. Books. That's right, I'm going to be talking about my favorite books. Specifically the books I think you should be reading while in quarantine, while locked up in your house, while you're unable to go out and live your extrovert's dream. God, that just sounds exhausting. And if you're watching this and quarantine's lifted, COVID has miraculously disappeared, people have stopped dying, Disneyland has lifted their ban on eating and drinking while walking, even then you should still read these books, because I said so. And obviously my word is law. So we're gonna start with the book that defined my childhood. Howls Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. This book, chef's kiss. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Studio Ghibli film adaptation loosely based on this book. And I mean loosely. Don't get me wrong, I love the film. Love it. One of my favorite Studio Ghibli films. But aside from the names of characters and places, it has nothing to do with the contents of this book. If you like the film, you should read the book. Really, this book is hilarious and way less dramatic than the movie. I mean, it's dramatic in other areas, but it's not dramatic in the ways that the movie. You get so much more build up into Sophie and Howl's relationship, and you get so much more of Howl as a person and how he became to be the infamous wizard that everybody thinks he is. Spoiler alert, there is no curse on Howl that turns him into some kind of giant bird monster. So do with that information what you will. I still highly recommend picking up a copy of this book. Shifting gears a little bit into the realm of surrealism, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles by Haruki Murakami. My favorite Japanese author. I have read a wide variety of his books. Norwegian Wood, 1Q84, all great. This one, however, I can't even explain it. It is a complete mind trip. I imagine this book is the equivalent of what taking acid or doing shrooms would be like. And as someone who has never done either of those things, the premise itself seems really simple and it starts off easy enough. Literally chronicles a man trying to find his wife's missing cat. And in the process of trying to find his wife's cat, then his wife goes missing, comes across all of these super bizarre yet intriguing characters, and then just like everything is all intertwined and nothing really is what it seems, and it's a total mindfuck, man. This was one of those books that the second I started reading, I couldn't put it down. It will keep you guessing from the very beginning to the very last sentence on the last page. And then when you're done reading it, you'll think back on what you read and you will start to question your own existence. Anyway, really good read. This next book, don't let the cover art fool you. I first read this book when I was 20 years old, and it is my favorite book. No contest. My favorite book in existence. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. First off, I'm a sucker for Neil Gaiman. This book changed my life. That sounds super dramatic, but right off the bat, in the first page, you just get hit with the most intense start to a character's backstory that I think you'll ever read. It centers around this blonde-haired boy who goes by the name of Bod, short for nobody, and after his parents are murdered, he ends up growing up in a graveyard by ghosts. That's right, you heard me right, his adoptive parents are ghosts. How fucking cool would that be? To be raised by ghosts? And this book also contains the best literary character of all time, Silas, Quizbod's mentor, his bodyguard, his confidant. I don't know. He's a lot of things. But I love him. I'm obsessed with him. He must be protected at all costs. This book has everything. I had like a Stefan from SNL flashback. This book has everything. Murder, mystery, intrigue, ghosts, graveyards, demons, ghouls, witches, magic. But at the heart of it, it's a really heartwarming coming of age story. 12 out of 10 would recommend for anyone and everyone. Okay, just read it. Just please promise me you'll read it. This book I actually just finished reading like a couple days ago, and again, just another French kiss, chef's kiss of literature. A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I highly doubt I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is historical fiction. It tells the story of how the Bolsheviks came to power in Russia through the eyes of the ever so charming Count Alexander Rostov. So he's like super rich. He's part of Russia's aristocracy. He's on trial for what essentially boils down to treason, and through his wit and charm manages to escape execution altogether, and instead is placed on house arrest in this hotel room, which is located right across the street from the Kremlin. So he literally has a bird's eye view at the evolution of Russia. I instantly fell in love with our main character, the Count, within the first couple pages. He's hilarious. Honestly, I was gonna Google this before I started making this video to see if he's based on someone in Russian history. Regardless if he's real or not, the way Amor writes him and his interactions with the other hotel guests that he encounters on a day-to-day basis, it seems like they are real. The entire time I was reading this book, I was convinced that these people had existed at one point in time. That's how well he writes them. I want the Count to be real. I want the Count to have existed because he's just such an interesting and intriguing character. At the end, it reads like a love letter to the relationships that we make with the most random people that we encounter on a day-to-day basis, and just how important those relationships can be. Another 10 out of 10 would recommend. Please go pick up this book. You will not regret it. I promise. The last book that I highly recommend anyone read. Honestly, I believe this particular book should be implemented in school curriculum. There's a lot of things that should be implemented in today's school curriculum. There by Tommie Orange. This is a good book. It is not a happy book. This is a book that I did not enjoy reading particularly. You know, not in the sense of I enjoy reading Howls Moving Castle because it's lighthearted, it's funny, it's not real. This is not funny, and this is very real. It follows several Native Americans from communities that are all gathering at the big Oakland powwow, and it highlights their struggles with being Native American in an urban world in modern America, and what exactly that means. This book is full of pain, it's full of heartache, it's filled with really eye-opening facts and history. Regardless on how you take it once you finish it, it's hard to forget about. Definitely recommend reading this book. In the current climate of America, with racial tensions being at an all-time high, now's the time to start educating yourself on the shit that people of color have had to deal with and how that impacts entire generations of people. Now, I will get off my soapbox, just end it with please read this book. Alright, there you have it. 5 of my all-time favorite books that I think you should be reading in and out of quarantine. I mean, come on, now all you've got is time, right? Broaden your horizons. You will never regret reading more books. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening to me rant and rave on my favorite pieces of literature. Give this video a big thumbs up if you've read any of the 5 titles that I talked about. Comment down below which ones you've read, which ones you want to read, what you thought of them. Honestly, I'm always up for a good discussion about a book, or several books. Fiction, non-fiction, doesn't matter. Let's talk about books. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.